Let me tell you about the time I almost lost my marriage.
This is the Unleash Your Purpose podcast.
It was our first year being married, and Sara was moving up to Flagstaff with me. And we were getting our first place together, and I decided that I should go pick out our house. The rental market was crazy. There wasn't time in my head. So I found a low-income housing trailer about 20 yards from the train. I put the deposit on the place. It was $600 a month. And I thought, this is where she is going to have the best year of her life. As I walk her into that trailer for the first time, the smell of cat urine on this stained carpet that was as bright as a movie theater from the 1990s. And then over in the corner was a washer and dryer that barely worked, but the only way you could get it to operate is you had to put quarters in, and once a week some random maintenance guy would come get the money out of our apartment from our washer and dryer. I walk my wife into this place and she looks at me and just starts to cry, and I knew I totally missed the mark. And that wasn't the first time that I caused my wife to cry in that apartment. I remember when we were getting ready to actually leave there and graduate and move on to the next thing, we were starting to have this inner turmoil in our first year of marriage. See, for me, what I was doing is I was pursuing my own pursuits of what I wanted for success. When I thought about success and what it means to be a successful man and husband, I was only focused on what I could do and what would make me successful. And for me, that was I was getting a master's degree to be a counselor and hated that. And then I was going to I had this vision to go into the military to become a physical therapist for the Army. And I was going to move my wife across the country. She didn't want that at all, but I thought that was going to be best for me. And what happened is it started to rift us apart because I was so much pursuing everything that I wanted and not what my wife wanted together, and us communicate, and it left us further and further apart. And our arguments started to get more intense. And I remember so vividly, we're in an argument about what our future looks like, and she tells me one evening, it's snowing outside, and she says, I'm gonna go back down to Phoenix and live with my parents. Hearing those words that I'm gonna go live with my parents was like a punch to my gut. And it was so infuriating. And she gets into the car and we have this little porch, and she gets in her car, starts backing away, the snow is coming down, and I stand on the porch and the train is coming by, and I'm holding a beer bottle in my hand. I'm in my underwear, that is it. And I'm yelling, get in the house, woman, get in the house. And I realized in that moment, I am my father. I am everything that I didn't want to become, but I am that. I am that guy in Detroit as the train goes by, and I am not loving my wife the way I should. And that was the beginning of a revolution that I needed help. And we ended up going to marriage therapy that just turned into individual therapy to kind of work through some hurts and wounds that I had before. And that ended up saving our marriage. And now fast forward, I get to create this beautiful life with the love of my life and have all these kids and 6 different companies together and get to travel the world and do ministry and celebrate together because that moment I was willing to say, I can't do this anymore. I need help and I need to put my wife first. And when you put your partner first and then that person puts you first, guess what? It's not a fight anymore of who's on top. You both are. You're both submitting to each other and are both on top of each other's list.